Welcome to Created Healthy. I'm Dawn Combs. It's a common idea that God gave us everything we need in nature, but do we believe it enough to walk that out in truth? Often the very same people who say this go looking for answers on how to use food and medicine from man-made sources. Everything man creates comes with a user's manual. Why would God be any different? I challenge you to join me in seeking revelation about our body, mind, soul, and spirit health by digging into His written word and in practicing pure science in the visible world of His creation. Depending on God for everything that you need and everything that you need to use in your life, your food, your water, your housing, is risky. And here's why. It's not because God doesn't follow through on His promises. It's not because He isn't steady and dependable. It's because whether or not God provides those things is up to you. When you lean entirely on God for your sustenance, now it actually depends on you to follow His commandments to the letter so that you can receive them. So, this is something I want to elaborate on here in Deuteronomy 9 through 11. The Israelites are standing just on the side of Jordan. Moses is telling them, you are crossing the Jordan. And they're looking forward into an uphill battle here. There are people who live in very well-fortified cities. They're dangerous people. They're scary people. There are people who are descendants of giants here. We've got mixed race people that are very tall and very big and very intimidating, and it's terrifying. But Moses is saying, God, the Lord goes before you, and He is consuming all the giant. He is consuming all of the terrifying, well-fortified people. So don't take credit. Again, he says, you aren't special. You're special because I made a promise. I made a covenant with you. And so you are my favored people. That is what makes you special. Not because of something that you are innately different at and being a human. I made a promise, and I am with you, and I'm walking ahead of you, and that's what makes you special. That's what makes you victorious. That's why I'm giving you this land. So don't get it into your head that this is you, that you are just really good at warfare and you're really powerful. Don't forget how I have provided for you. Moses now goes through a recitation of all the places that the people have been in rebellion and all the things that he has had to sacrifice again. He throws that in, his long-sufferingness. He is talking again about keep all of his statutes, ordinances, commandments, and mentions again that all of the people that are about to cross over, there are only him and Aaron and Caleb and Joseph, I think. My mind just went blank. There's only about 4 men that have seen all of the things that God has done, because the whole generation that was present at Mount Horeb, that has seen the 10 Commandments and the fire on the mountain and all the things that came out of Egypt, they're all gone. We're standing now on the Jordan with a fresh batch. And so he says, this is going to have to be a tradition that you're passing down. You have to pass it down, because now you don't have people who have firsthand experience anymore. You're going to have to tell this story. Further, he tells them that the land that they're going into is not like Egypt. So in Egypt, he says, you sowed your seed and you watered it with your foot, is what my translation says, like a vegetable garden. But in Canaan, this is a land of hills and valleys, and it drinks water from the rain of heaven. It is a land for which God cares. The eyes of God are always on it. And if you follow the commandments, God will bring the right rains at the right amount of rain at the right time, and he will give grass for your cattle. The promise then here is that you will eat and be satisfied. And again, water is really important. This is a desert environment, and wherever water is coming from the sky is precious. But in Egypt, we were dealing with man-made waterworks. We were dealing with the ability to draw water from a steady source. The Nile is huge. The water is there. Obviously, God could perform a miracle and the Nile could just disappear overnight. But for the most part, water is being gathered from this huge body of water, and it's gathered by human industry. It is labor. Now, that means that it's labor intensive, and that there's more work, and God is promising less work, and that's a beautiful thing. But in Egypt, you could trust that you could always go out and get more water for your crops if you were willing to go and work. And it's easy to then become dependent on yourself for that. In Canaan, God's saying, all you have to do is follow my rules, my commandments, my statutes, and I will bring rain from the sky when it's needed, just enough, not too much and not too little. You will be blessed, and you won't have to put in any effort whatsoever, but you have to follow my commandments. Because he said the alternative here is that if you worship other gods, you can do that too, instead of following my commandments. But if you do that, I will shut up the heavens. The ground will not yield fruit, and you will perish from the land. And here again he says, impress my words on your heart, soul, bind it as a sign on your hand and your forehead, teach to your sons, write them on your doorposts, on your gates, because I want you to live in this land. I want you to prosper. I want you to be healthy. I want this land to prosper with you on it. I don't want this land to have to shut up its fertility and spit you out and welcome somebody else. I don't want that. That's not the good that I envisioned for my people, but you get to choose. And so this is risky. They cross over into Canaan. They have to follow the rules. That's the deal. The only way, and we see it here, the only way for us to be seeing steady rain in our fields is that we take care of the land in the way that God prescribed it, and we're not. And we have floods and we have droughts, and we are not caring for the land the way that we were commanded. And so we have unsteady. We have intermittent and too much and too little. We are still living this promise, and it's risky. It's risky. We've got to depend on ourselves every single day. We've got to be able to keep our eyes on the instructions, the loving instructions and rules that God gave us for our health, for our fertility, and for the ability to live in the land and have the good of everything that God has designed. He says, I am setting before you a blessing and a curse. And this is so, so true. It is a blessing. The same words, go into this land, and this land brings water from the heavens. It's a blessing. And all you have to do is love me. But if you hate me, if you don't follow my rules, it becomes a curse. It becomes a curse that water only comes from the sky. Because now I'm a farmer and I am watching the sky day in, day out, and I don't have any control over whether it opens and drops something from me. I can't go down to the Nile and open up a gate and allow water to come through. I can't take a bucket and go and dip and haul it back and work really hard and make sure that my crops are watered. I have to look to the sky and wait for God to open the heavens. And when I have decided to hate him, when I have decided to fight against him and fight his creation and not follow his rules, that's where I am, a blessing and a curse. I pray that God is blessing you today. And I pray that you are aware that he doesn't just do that because of who you are or some birthright that you have or who you know or how much money you have or how big your family is. He blesses you because you are loving him back and you are respecting that the rules that he has in place for you are not to control you. They are to love you and keep you in the paths of safety and health and fertility. And that's when blessings come. I pray that you are learning how to call in God's blessings and how to love him best each day. And join me again on another day. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share with a friend. And I'm always interested in hearing what God is laying on your heart. So drop me a rating or review or join the conversation on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube at Dawn Combs Really.